What's up again, everybody? Today, more than ever, this playmat is totally on theme. It's totally on point. We are going to talk today about Levia Blitz. I've put together a Levia Blitz deck. I've thought a lot about how I want this Blitz deck to function. My goal with this deck was for it to be very consistent, doing all the Levia things. So I'm going to break this down for you, share the deck list with you, kind of show you what you're looking to do early, and I can't wait to hear your feedback in a comment below. So Levia, if you don't know, is a 4 intellect, 20 health hero. We're building a Blitz deck, so it's a 40 card deck with two unique cards per name. So essentially you can only use 2 versus 3 to build your deck. She says if a card with 6 or more attack has been put into your banished zone this turn, cards you own lose blood debt during their end phase. So with that being understood, I chose to play the Ravenous Meat Axe, and I did this for a very specific purpose, and perhaps it's the same purpose that the original Blitz decks that you can buy, like the Levia Blitz deck, which I have sitting right here. This Blitz deck, the reason they put the Meat Axe in this is because Levia here is pretty good when you can start your turns off and start your games off by just not attacking with cards, building up your discard pile so that then you can banish cards from that discard pile and use the effect. So early game, we're going to be using the Ravenous Meat Axe. We're going to be paying 2 and we're going to be attacking. And when we do this, Ravenous Meat Axe draws a card and this discards a random card from your hand. If the discarded card is 6 or more attack, then this is attacking for 5 instead of 3. So early game, we're going to be wanting to attack for 5, attack for 5, attack for 5, and defend for a couple of turns. Once we stop doing that, once we've decided, you know what, our discard pile is big enough and full enough with 6 attack cards, then we start playing our big attacks and making our opponent a little bit scared. So that's the game plan with the hero and with the weapon. Really quickly, I want to talk about this equipment. I chose for this to run the Scab Skin Leathers. If you don't have Scab Skin Leathers, then you can run the Hooves of the Shadow Beast just fine. This actually comes in the Blitz deck, and the Hooves of the Shadow Beast are fantastic. I'm choosing to run the Scab Skin Leathers because of the extra block and because of the incremental value that you can get by rolling the dice over and over and over again. And to go with that, if we miss and hit a 1, then we have Gambler's Gloves to destroy these and then to re-roll. If you don't have this combo of Scab Skin Leathers and Gambler's Gloves, I don't blame you. These are expensive cards. Just run Hooves of the Shadow Beast and Goliath Gauntlet. I think these are both fantastic subs, and I played these and I was just happy with them. Playing Goliath Gauntlet for an extra big attack is, arguably better than having the Scab Skin and the Gamblers that just destroys if you miss a roll on Scab Skin. So it's really just up to you. These are fantastic to play with as well. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on the equipment because those are more situational. Let's talk about the deck construction, and we're going to start with these cards here. These cards are just auto-includes in my mind for a Levia deck. They're just generally good cards. That's Command and Conquer, and it's Command and Conquer. Command and Conquer is a 6 attack. Command and Conquer defends 3, it costs 2, and it can threaten very, very scary things for your opponent. In this deck, I'm not running the Shadow Puppetry Command and Conquer combo, and the reason I'm not doing that is just because I want to lower the amount of things that, if they are banished, miss our blood debt effect. So I don't want to put a ton of non-attack action cards in the deck. I do have a few, and we'll talk about those next. But I'm trying to avoid putting as many of those in as possible. Though I could make the argument for including Shadow Puppetry, and I may just give it a try. It's a fantastic card, so it is worth giving a try. Nourishing Emptiness I also think is broken in Levia. If you draw this early, then it's just really, really disgusting. Drawing this early when you have nothing in your discard pile, or drawing it late when you have nothing in your discard pile, and attacking for 6 with Dominate. Just the Dominate part, full stop. Don't even worry about the extra intellect. Full stop on Dominate, you're just super, super good. So that card's amazing. Oh, I just got a subscriber. I don't know why it played the sound. Exciting! Congratulations us! Hooray! I wish this little thing ticked up, but it doesn't. That's kind of funny, though, that someone subscribed while I'm recording this video. I dig that. Reckless Swing is also just generally good. This is a card that if you banish off the discard pile, it doesn't affect, or it doesn't like turn off blood debt, and so you're sad, but it also just wins you games. If you get your opponent down to 2, then you're just guaranteed to win off Reckless Swing. And that's fun. Guaranteed wins off Reckless Swing if your opponent's at 2 and you have this in hand is just a good time. So I always throw that into a Blitz deck if I'm playing a Brute. Now, the few non-attack action cards that we have are here. Blood Rush Bellow. This card is uber powerful. It pitches yellow. It defends 3 if you wanted to, but it can discard you a card, which is good because you're building up your discard pile, and that's kind of what Levia wants to do early, like we talked about with the Meat Axe. It gives your Brute attacks +2, and if you've guaranteed that you've discarded a 6 attack or more card, then you draw 2 cards and this says go again. Now, if you miss, then this is the end of your turn. So you don't ever want to miss with this, which is why we've built the deck in such a way that we have almost all 6 attacks and very few non-attack action cards. We run 2 of these. Just giving your weapon, like giving Ravenous Meat Axe +2 is super solid. It attacks for 7 most likely, which is insane. Giving any of your other attacks +2, just all of them that you play +2, super solid. And if you're rolling Scab Skin Leathers to get extra action points, then this can be just super backbreaking. Convulsions is a one of in this deck. It's really there to pitch blue, but it could also win you the game at the very end if you use this, banish some things, give your next attack Dominate. Dominate is backbreaking in the Blitz format. If you have them low health and you play a Dominate card, then you're probably winning. So it's in there for that too. Now, Barraging Beatdowns, we have 2 yellows and we have 2 blues. These are there because it makes some of your attacks just even more awkward. You don't have to pitch to play this card. It literally pitches, or it costs 0 to play. You don't have to discard to play this card. You can just play this down and it's free damage, making your opponent uncomfortable blocking with cards from hand. Plus it's Intimidate, and even though we're playing Levia and not another Brute, Intimidate is still a strong keyword. Takes a card from their hand for the turn. So those are the only non-attacks. Now, the meat of the deck are in these 2 stacks I'm about to show you. This stack right here are all cards that can be played early or mid-game if you're not trying to if you're not trying to banish from your discard. So we have Shadow of Blasphemous. This can actually banish for you, which is really nice because halfway through the game, if you're searching for that card to banish and try to turn off Blood Debt, this does that for you. Otherwise it just attacks for 6, doesn't block for anything, and we've minimized the amount of cards that can block for nothing, but we do have a few in here, like Deadwood Rumbler. Deadwood Rumbler blue, pitches blue, which is fantastic, is a 6 attack, so if you have to discard this one or banish this one, then you're meeting those requirements. Doesn't block for anything, so that sucks. But it does also have a beneficial cycling into a discard pile effect as well, which is great. So we have 2 of those. We didn't run the yellows, but you could run the yellows if you wanted to. They do the same thing, but attack for 7. Deep-Rooted Evil costs 3, so it's kind of expensive. Attacks for 6. And then doesn't have really any bad effect or really tricky effect. What it does do is give you the ability to play it from your banished zone if you've banished a 6 attack. So what you could do is you can actually play a line where you play Shadow of Blasphemous down. Shadow of Blasphemous, of course, attacks for 6, costs 2, I should say, so you have to pitch yellow for it. Search for a Deep-Rooted Evil, banish a Deep-Rooted Evil, then play a Deep-Rooted Evil, pitching a blue from hand. And that's 3 cards from your hand, and then you're attacking for 12. Now, of course, you'd need to create an extra action point in order to do that, and to create the extra action point, we most likely use Scab Skin Leathers. You could also, again, because of that's a banish combo, you could use the Hooves of the Shadow Beast. Mark of the Beast is a great card for, I have 2 cards in hand, one of them can pitch yellow, I play Mark of the Beast, and I don't have to worry about taking Blood Debt, because it will banish itself, and that's fantastic. Card's really good. Attacks for 6, blocks 3, yeah. And then Gravel and Growl, you can't technically play Gravel and Growl unless you've banished something. But if you have banished something that turn, this is a great follow-up for 1. 6 for 1, pitch is yellow as well. I think pitch is really tough in this deck. Just trying to balance that out perfectly so that you can pay for everything at whatever time you want is one of the challenges. Savage Feast is the most recent addition to this deck. I put it in here because of the 6, because of the 1 cost, because you can play it early game if you wanted to. It does do the discard a random card, and if it hits, you can draw a card. Giving it an extra action point with the Scab Skin Leathers is also pretty fantastic, but if you have to play this early game instead of playing the Ravenous Meat Axe or attacking with the Ravenous Meat Axe, you can. It threatens 1 more damage and it's coming across, at your opponent, and it's building up your discard pile. So that's the most recent addition to the deck. And finally, perhaps the most important stack, all the cards that we play off the back of building this big discard pile. We have the OG Soul Harvest. Soul Harvest is fantastic. It's the Levia specialization. You want to build up your discard pile so that you can pay to play this for 12 or 9 or 10, whatever. This card's insane. You should have it in the deck. I wish we could run 2, but we can't. Boneyard Marauder. We have 2 reds. They're 1 cost. They allow you to banish and turn off Blood Debt. They attack for 6, and that's about it. I kind of wish that we had better options. I'm not going to lie. I may take this card out completely and put something else in. I haven't decided yet, really. Hungering Slaughter Beast. We have 2 reds. We have 2 yellows in here. And Hungering Slaughter Beast just attacks 7, just attacks 6, costs 2. And it's just kind of like generic big attack. Try to attack. Maybe you can tack something on after this through Scab Skins or through the hooves of the Shadow Beast. But it banishes stuff for you. Dread Screamer's a fantastic hit. This card is really great because if you land the 6 attack banish with Dread Screamer, it gains Go Again. So you have a 6 attack with Go Again, and it just goes for it. I had the blues in here. I popped them out because it was a card that if you discard or if you banish, it doesn't actually do anything for you. So I switched that one out, but I wish this card was like a 7/6/5 for the cycle. It's not. And then perhaps like the most underratedly good card in the deck, it's Writhing Beast Hulk. Yellows, I have the yellows in here, but the reds are really good. Like both reds and yellows technically are really good because not only do you just attack for 6, it also just can gain Dominate, just straight up. Banish something, gain Dominate, you're like super happy. And that's really disgusting. Late game, you like cycle these early, play these late game, and just win the game. Like Writhing Beast Hulk yellow, same thing. Attacks for 5, wins the game. And then finally, Endless Maw. This is the last 2 cards in the deck. We have 2 Endless Maws. This is similar to one of the other cards I mentioned prior. If you have a 2-card hand and you just like need to put on pressure, playing this, pitching blue, attacking for 9. 20 health game, attacking for 9 is really good. So this card is definitely good. This is where I'm at right now with Levia. It's like an aggressive Levia. I guess you could say it's an aggressive Levia. I would say it's pretty aggressive. But this is where I've gotten to at this point. There's a lot of different variables to kind of consider when playing this deck. But in general, what you're looking to do, like I said, and if I could show you very quickly, I guess the best way to play it, or the way that I've found that I'm comfortable playing this so far, is that at the beginning of the game, you're going to be spending cards to make these Ravenous Meat Axe attacks so that you can be building up like Blood Debt in your, 6 attacks, I should say, in your discard pile. So if our discard pile is full up over here, at this point when you've gotten to where you've blocked with cards from hand, you've attacked with Ravenous Meat Axe, you're feeling like, okay, I have a lot of good 6 attacks in the discard pile, variety of things that I've used, then I can start going, okay, well now at this point, I'm just going to, I don't know, pitch 2 reds, play 1 Hungering Slaughter Beast. Yes, this is only attacking for 6, but, it starts the process of banishing these. Our arsenal like a Soul Harvest or something like that, cycle back around to your deck, and then that's when you get to start playing some of these big gross things, like your Mark of the Beast, Shadow of Blasphemous, big combos where you play like a Blood Rush Bellow into like multiple bigger attacks, pitching cards. If I could give you one tip as well for when you play some of these cards like Soul Harvest, if you can play this from your arsenal, because you need cards in hand to pitch for the 6 cost that it is, if you can play this from your arsenal, you'll be very happy. So putting that into your arsenal somewhere in the mid game is great. Pitching it early perhaps is better, and then cycling to it later. And then if I could also give you a tip, hey look, pro tip, this card in arsenal is the nuts, man. Play Blood Rush Bellow from arsenal every time, and then that allows you to, let's say you have a 4-card hand and one of those cards is, where is it? Where are my non-attacks? Maybe 1 or 2 of those cards are these, right? Something like this. I don't know. Maybe that's your hand. And you have the Blood Rush Bellows in arsenal. You can play the 2 barraging beatdowns, and apologies if this is blurry, you can play the 2 barraging beatdowns first so that you can thin your hand down to just what you need to trigger the Blood Rush Bellow. Right, so play barraging, pitch, Blood Rush Bellow, Savage Feast gets burned, then you draw 2 cards, and everything that you play or pitch for, that is attacking, like everything gets bigger. So playing a Blood Rush Bellow into like a Ravenous Shadow is still good, and if you do have a hand that has multiple 6 attack cards and you don't have to thin it with non-attacks, playing this from Arsenal just allows you to play bigger cards, you know, from your hand in sequence. So those are the tips that I would say if you're playing or planning to play this deck. Try to get those cards into Arsenal, because if you can, they're pretty fantastic. So that's what I have for you. That's my Levia Blitz deck in its current iteration. Let me know how that compares to your Levia Blitz deck. Let me know what would you change, what would you add. I'm looking at things I would add already. I'm tweaking it constantly. And what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to start like a database for, like, probably on Patreon. I'll probably start a database of all the decks that I'm currently working on and iterating. I'm going to keep them private just to, you know, I don't know, just for me to be able to tinker with. But for those patrons that want to support the channel or have supported the channel, I'll let you guys kind of in on what my whole stream of consciousness looks like. So maybe I'll make like a link resource page for you to be able to see what decks I'm tinkering with. As always, everybody, thanks for watching.